Okay, we are live. It is a little after 12:09 a.m. Saturday, early Saturday morning, 1/13/2024. And we're going to go over some cases I missed last week because of other shit. So we'll go over some cases that made the news the past couple of weeks. Let me play the intro and I'll be right back. Oops. Hope everybody's having a good week. I'll be right back. All right, so here we are. Hi, Southern Gal. How are you? I saw you live tonight. It was awesome. Um, One thing I'm going to mention before I go too much further here is I'm having issues with my freaking keyboard. So I have to use my tablet mode to type. So that's been quite the challenge the past couple of days. So if I'm not responding to people, it's not because I don't want to. It's because my G and my H and my backspace isn't working. So, and of course, everything I type now has to have a G and an H in it. And I can't live without my backspace. It's just not going to work. So if I don't respond to people, I'm sorry. It's not you. It's definitely me, this guy here. So anyways, with that said, let me, I'm going to put up a banner here to get rid of my face. Let's do, well, let's create another one. I'm going to do this. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to go local here because there's been some news here in the, oops, there we go. Like that. It's banner. How come I'm not doing this? And I don't know how to get rid of my face here. Let's see here. that either. Show display names. Don't want that. Overlay. Trying to get rid of my face. I don't know what's going on. Oh well, we'll leave that up for now. All right, so let's go over this. Oh, that's why. Okay. Oh, you're welcome. I try to make every live you do, especially if you do them later in the afternoon. I'll be up because I sleep most of the day. So, all right, so let's go to this here. I don't know if anybody knows anything about this case. This is the case about with. Let me bring this up here. Harmony Montgomery here in New Hampshire. See, now I need an H. So she, let's see here. She, beautiful little kid. Probably born into the wrong situation here. And okay, so let me read this here. So she was missing since October 2019, but authorities only started searching for her in December 2021 because she wasn't reported missing for I think a year or two. And let me share this here. Also, for the people who watch these replays, I know people do. I apologize because I never give them a shout out. But thank you everybody for watching the replay version. So this is Harmony Montgomery here, beautiful little kid, and her father is being held up on her unaliving. So a couple of different things in this here. He's a actual real piece of shit, and hopefully he gets everything that's coming to him. So let's play some of the latest on this here. Let's see here. So he was in court last week here, and I'm going to play part of this. Let me share this court TV thing. And he wants some of the evidence tossed in this case, of course. So I'll play this here. We announced that we had concluded. So he's being held, I think, right now on some weapons charges that he got convicted of last year. But his trial is going to start fairly shortly here, I think. So
that 5-year-old Harmony was murdered in Manchester in early December of 2019. Why is it so trouble talking about Harmony? I got nothing else to say. Specifically, Mr. Montgomery has been charged with the following 4 crimes. Second-degree murder.
Adam Montgomery is gearing up for his murder trial, but now he wants certain pieces of evidence banned. So how might this impact?
Yeah, look at her. I mean, what in God's name would possess somebody to just, I don't know. It's just, when you have kids, you do everything for your kids. You give them the shirt off your back. You work really hard for your kids. And this piece of crap right here is just, just goes to show you everybody claims they're innocent. But this guy here, in my opinion, is not innocent whatsoever.
Justice for Harmony. And Gypsy Rose Blanchard released from prison after spending 8 years behind bars for her mother's murder. So now what's next for Gypsy? And Paula Abdul filing a lawsuit accusing a former American Idol producer of sexual assault. It's all coming up next for you right here on Opening Statements. Good Tuesday morning to you, and welcome to Opening Statements. Also, Happy New Year. I'm your host, Julie Grant. I missed you over the holiday.
I think this was done a few weeks ago here. I'll try to skip forward here a little bit.
And all of the big headlines.
Because I like her, but she talks a lot. So they all do. What are you going to do? Nothing you can do about it.
To see Face the Music soon. for the murder of his daughter, Harmony Montgomery. That precious baby angel
Look at her. I mean, she's just so darn cute.
was murdered 5 years ago, and she was only 5 years old at the time. And everyone who loved Harmony can't even grieve her death properly.
I agree. And you know, the problem is that I'm pretty sure they wanted to arrest a few people in this case, but they just couldn't because, you know, turning state's witness and stuff like that. But he's not the only one involved in this, but he's the only one that they're going after. So, I mean, there's really nothing you can do about that, I guess.
Because her little body is nowhere to be found. Perhaps that's because she was beaten to death, and her little lifeless body was then destroyed. That's what police and prosecutors believe happened to Harmony Montgomery. As if the aggravated assault and the homicide weren't enough, police believe that her corpse...
I mean, anybody touches my kids, they're going to have a serious issue. But harming a child is just, you know, it's one of those things that bothers me to no end.
Corpse was abused to the point of being destroyed. Now, how might that have happened? I think we have some very strong hints at how in the recent motion filed by Harmony's father's legal team to exclude from case evidence what Adam Montgomery bought at a Home Depot store, like 40-pound bag of pelletized limestone, a metal cutting diamond blade, a fuel grinder, and a lithium-ion battery and charger. This guy was living in his car. Why in the world would he need those things? Maybe the cover-up was worse than the crime. Adam Montgomery, Judgment Day is coming soon for you. February 6th. That is when justice for precious Harmony begins. Because that's when Adam Montgomery's murder trial begins. Little Harmony Montgomery deserved to live. And whoever killed her deserves to pay the price. Adam Montgomery, if it was you, if those items you bought were to cover up your daughter's death, may you get the justice that's coming to you. That's my opening statement on this Tuesday
I'm sorry, this was done, I think this was done 3 days ago.
morning. Let me know if you like it right now. It's time for what's on your daily docket.
So what they got you for, man?
Okay, so I'll switch here now to, let's see here. We'll go to this one here. This was done. Hold on a second. Let me share this here. Yes, very similar to Amber Crum. Yep. Okay, so this was done a few days ago too here.
Nobody said you're losing your daughter, right? So I want to make that clear. So you know, I have my body tomorrow, so just like everybody else is being on here. So you just need to find out where she is. That's all I'm concerned about. You're not in.
So apparently they did a lot. They drove her around place to place and place. They still haven't found her body. They probably never will. I know they were down in my own stomping ground down there in Revere, Massachusetts, looking down there. But the way these people treated this body is just amazing.
Any trouble right now that I know of? Okay. We have no warrants. Okay. So where's your daughter so we can check on her to make sure that she's okay? Right now, I have nothing to say, you guys. But that's not what I'm just asking where she is. I have nothing to say. So you don't care if your daughter's okay or not? I do. I listen. I have nothing to say. Is your daughter? If I'm under arrest, you guys can arrest me.
Wow, what an attitude he's got.
What a piece of dog shit.
Huh? Well, Adam Montgomery's attorneys also want to exclude some suspicious purchases that his wife, Kayla, claims that he made to tamper with Harmony's remains, including a metal cutting blade, a grinder, and lime. Now, Kayla Montgomery is expected to be a key witness at Adam's upcoming trial schedule.
So this is his, I believe this is his second wife. This is not the mother of Harmony.
To begin on February the 6th. She already testified at his trial last June, where he was convicted on weapons charges. Here to discuss.
This is the person I think they wanted to charge with unaliving too, but they're using her as a witness against this guy, I think.
With me, Court TV crime and justice correspondent Matt Johnson, Court TV legal correspondent Kelly Craft, and we still have attorney Carl Steinbeck standing by remotely for us. What up?
It's just terrible. You know, it's just absolutely how people can treat people like this is just amazing.
Panel I've got today on the couch, you guys. Whoa, I wish we had all day to talk about this case. There's so much. Matt, let me start with you because you were there. You saw Kayla testify in the gun trial. You covered it for.
I think it was last year. I covered this case early on, back in, I think, 2020, I think, a little bit of it, because it's so close to home here. But then when they were taking the refrigerator out of the apartment, I knew that they were pretty much going to be making an arrest soon after that. They wouldn't have taken that refrigerator out of there if it wasn't for any type of forensics they were going to find in there.
For us, how did she come off as a witness?
Right. So I was there for the weapons trial there in New Hampshire, and she came off very credible, even though, you know, she's serving time and she was there in her prison outfit as well. But, you know, I'm also looking over at that defense table and how Adam was carrying himself, very confident walking in the courtroom each and every day. You know, now a convicted felon dirtbag, but with a great attorney, Carolyn Smith, that's really pushing.
Convicted felon dirtbag. I love it.
For these motions.
Ah, right. You know, you're speaking of, and so we know that they want the items from Home Depot to not be in front of the jury. And Kelly, I want to bounce some.
He has absolutely no respect for me at all whatsoever in any case subject study. Like, I know people like to delve into what commits people like this to do this. These people just need to go away for the rest of their life forever. I mean, if you're going to do this to your own child, you know, it just sucks.
Something off of you, please. Tapping into your experience as a former prosecutor. Taking a look at a piece of that affidavit of probable cause that was for the murder.
I don't mince words on my channel. I know it probably turns a lot of people off. I mean, people are innocent until proven guilty, but I have opinions sometimes. And, you know, this guy literally is just a piece of dog shit.
Charges. Kayla offers some information about seeing Adam Montgomery pouring some lime on little Harmony's body. So take a look. So we've highlighted.
This will be triggering.
This, and she says that Harmony wasn't bones, that she had skin and teeth and hair. This is so sad, and she could still tell that it was her. And then Adam put about half of the bag of lime or a little more into that bag. So
this CMC means for Catholic Medical Center. That's a hospital down here in Manchester. So they had one of those hospital maternity bags that they did this to her in. It's sad. It sucks.
Bag that he was carrying around, that duffel bag that's mentioned all throughout the affidavit. Kelly, knowing this motion that his defense team has filed trying to keep out the lime and the other things, the grinder, what do you think as a prosecutor? How problematic would it be if that stuff is excluded?
Well, as a prosecutor, you want to argue that this is really connected to the case here. And that's how you can get this kind of evidence in. Of course, defense counsel is saying that lime is kind of a common product, that maybe a lot of people will buy it. So they want this.
Who would do that? Not Manchester. These people were living out of their car.
Excluded. And of course, they've actually had some wins so far in this case because the judge has agreed to suppress some of the interactions that he has made with the police. But of course, defense counsel wants.
Also, I apologize for not being here last week. It's just been a horrible couple of weeks here. My brother died 2 weeks ago, and then right after he passed, I got deathly ill from some sort of viral thing. I went to my doctor basically told me to go to the emergency room last Friday night, so that's why I wasn't here Friday night. Yeah, just, you know, I never go to the doctor ever. So it was, I mean, I was basically out of breath all the time. It was, and I was at the emergency room for 3 hours, and basically the doctor says, "There's nothing we can do for you." So I'm like, okay, thanks a lot. Thanks for nothing. But I'm better now for sure, no doubt.
That entire video, that interrogation video, and a little bit, if you want
So that's why I wasn't on Friday night, last Friday night.
to call interrogation video that they showed earlier, they want
But I posted this as all hell breaks loose because I've been off for a week, and all of these cases, I mean, there's just so many cases going on right now. It's just absolutely crazy.
all of that, exclude defense counsel. But the prosecution really has to stick to the argument that his actions are all connected to the death of his daughter.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to be able to do that. They're just, at this point, they're grabbing at straws here. My opinion, this guy will be convicted. And thank you, Southern Gal. I really appreciate it. Did I make you a mod? Let me know if I made you a mod or not, because I want people to be able to post their channels in here.
And then the judge can maybe decide to get it in.
Right, Kelly. I'm glad you brought up about the video because he's also trying to keep that out. Let's play another clip from when he is questioned by police.
Can you make me a promise? Like, man to man? Can you tell me that she's alive?
You're gonna play the same word games that you played with me the other day.
It's not word games.
I got nothing else.
We care about. We want to know. This isn't gonna go anywhere. Like, this isn't gonna stop. So you know.
No, it's not.
So
So
either get on the bus now or get run over.
I got nothing else to say.
Why is it you have so much trouble talking about Harmony?
Guys, I got nothing else to say. I want a lawyer with me.
Lawyers up there, Carl Steinbeck. Tell me what you think about the likelihood that that video potentially being excluded. What do you think the judge will do, please?
Okay, hold on. Give me a minute. I'll make you a mod because I want you to be able to post your channel in here.
Yeah, I think the judge is probably going to exclude most all the evidence of what he says. And what they're looking at as a prosecutor is if that happens, then what other evidence can we bring in to show his guilt? And a lot of that would be his body language, his demeanor. And so take out the words. What do you have about the way he's acting, just the way he's responding outside of his car and whatnot? And think about it. What kind of father wouldn't be concerned about his daughter who's missing for 2 years? And he's got nothing to say about it. So he's obviously acting very guilty and suspicious. And that's what the defense is trying to do, is keep everything they possibly can out. And even the stuff like the lime purchase, that kind of stuff should come in, though, because that does show that it's directly tied to the crime. And so I expect all that kind of evidence of what he purchased at Home Depot will be admissible.
All right, Carl, I'm with you there. I know Kelly's nodding too. I think we can all agree this really should. I'd be stunned if the judge excludes that. Maybe that bit of video there, maybe, I don't know, because it's, I don't know what he's offering. He lawyers up, immediately. And to your point, Carl, he just.
All right, let me know if that worked for you.
Sits there and looks guilty. So it is prejudicial in a way. And if I'm the prosecutor, I probably wouldn't care so much if that's excluded. I don't think it really makes the case. I want to show you all something else from the affidavit. Let's take a look at some of what is noted by police in the way in which they say this crime was covered up. In the affidavit, and we've highlighted the portion of it. If we could put it on the screen, it says that Adam had placed Harmony's body in a duffel bag and kept it in the trunk of the car. For months, they took Harmony's remains with them as they bounced around, living in different places. While living at a shelter, Adam placed the bag with Harmony's remains in the ceiling vent in their bedroom. And when the duffel bag began leaking, Adam placed a trash bag.
Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, I appreciate all your shout outs to me too. Your channel is awesome. So yeah, I mean,
around it, only removing the bag from the ceiling when a neighbor complained about the smell. And at one point, he apparently moved her remains.
I'm pretty sure you're not going to be posting any naughty links in here, so that's not mine. Making you a mod. I have 140 subscribers. I have 140 mods. That's too funny.
To a smaller bag in order to fit her inside it. He replaced the remains he placed them rather inside a bathtub. And that's where we highlighted that portion a couple moments ago where Kayla says she saw the lime being poured.
Yeah, we should definitely set up something for maybe in a couple weeks. We could do a panel live. That'd be awesome. Go over some cases for sure. I love the way you do things too on your channel for sure.
The story that is told here, Matt Johnson,
that Steve guy though.
As I'm reading it, I mean, I'm cringing. I know you are too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about the family and the fact that this girl wasn't even given a chance at life. Her body has never been found. And then also the cast of characters that we're going to see back on the stand making the case that this dirtbag is guilty of the murder because they have their own.
I like this guy. I like this dirtbag. He said dirtbag again. It's so funny.
Own set of problems and troubles that prosecutors have to overcome with drug addiction.
Dirtbag. Classic. You gotta love it. You just have to. All right, so I'll play the latest on this, and then we'll get on to something else here. But this happened 3 days ago. So let's play this here. It's not long. I think this is a minute. There'll be a commercial here. So let me share this here. This guy is just nothing but a piece of crap. Yeah, gotta stay away from that Steve guy. There's a commercial here, so this is the latest that I wanted to play from this case, and then we'll move on to something else. Oops.
Montgomery will be well underway. The Manchester. 1 month from now, the trial of Adam Montgomery will be well underway.
So about a month from now, there'll be. I'll be following this case here for sure. The trial and everything.
Manchester father is facing.
Because I literally hate this guy.
Several charges, accused of murdering his own daughter, 5-year-old Harmony, back in 2019. Montgomery has pleaded not guilty. As his attorneys prepare his.
It's Mekhi. Am I saying your name right? Is it Mekhi or Mexi? Mexi's here. Awesome. Thanks for coming in, Mexi. Good to see you.
Defense, we are learning more about who they will call to the witness stand. The first is Michelle Rafferty of Massachusetts. It's unclear what her connection is to this case. The other is Michael Harji.
I just hope, I hope that at some point they find her body. But I don't have a lot of faith in that.
He is an inmate at the Hillsborough County House of Corrections. The defense says it may also call any witness.
Yeah, this guy's a dirtbag. The think tank with Frankie's a great channel too. She's awesome.
On the state's list, which consists of some 200 people, including 25% of Manchester's police force. The defense has also filed a motion to prevent any conversations between Adam.
I don't have a lot of respect for her either. I know that she's sad now, but the only reason why she's talking is because she's getting special treatment. But I don't want to say she's just as guilty as he is, but it's pretty close.
Montgomery and his estranged wife, Kayla, from being entered as evidence citing marital privilege. They point to New Hampshire Rule of Evidence 504, which establishes a husband and wife privilege and provides.
There's a girl that comes in here too. Her name is Audrey, and I keep calling her Aubrey. So it's these senior moments that we have.
that neither shall be allowed to testify against the other as to any statement, conversation, letter, or other communication. Kayla Montgomery is expected to be a key witness in Adams' trial. Now, Harmony Montgomery's remains have never been located. The Manchester Police Department has established a new tip line for information that could help investigators find her. That number is running at the bottom of your screen right now, 603-932-8997. Reporting.
They didn't report her missing for, I think it was a year or two, which, you know, that's 24/7, yeah. I've seen your moments every time I get told to do something around here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Delphi here. Is this the latest one? Not sure. Yes, this is the latest one. Okay, so give me a second. I'll stream this. So the new lawyers want him moved now too, which is weird. So it's.
It was an unseasonably warm February day in 2017 in the small rural town of Delphi, Indiana. It's not a place where you worry when your teenage kids decide to go on an adventure. So when Abby Williams and her best friend Libby German decided to go on a hike.
There's just so many cases right now. It's all over the chart. Like this, the body in the bag case going on. She's, I think this is her 7th lawyer.
Hike near the Monon High Bridge in the middle of the day. No one thought it was dangerous. But when Libby and Abby did not show up when they were supposed to get picked up, their families began to worry and they began to search. Then the next day, the worst possible news. The bodies of these 2 young girls were found, both victims of murder. As the investigation progressed over 5 years, there were sketches of the suspect that looked like 2 different people. And there was also video of the killer. Then, finally, an arrest of the accused murderer, Richard Allen. Allen says he didn't do it, and he also alleges it was a group of Odinites who were actually responsible, white nationalists practicing the ancient Nordic religion. Images of the murder scene have been sealed, but have been described in court papers and leaked online. And all this has led to more drama and more arrests in the case. Tonight, we return to the scene and bring you all the latest legal controversy as we continue our investigation of the Delphi murders. I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. And this,
I think he's in there now. I think he's in the same prison that Keaton Klein is in now, I think.
Investigation, this story, what's going to be this trial.
If he was in a jail right now, like if he was being held where he's supposed to be being held in a jail instead of a prison, this wouldn't be an issue. But, you know, even the new lawyers are saying, wait a minute, something's wrong here. So I just think they should do things by the book here, because the last thing they want is for, this case here to go, because I've seen guilty people walk before. And I personally think this guy's guilty myself, but they should just try to do things by the book as much as possible in this case, because if not, this could go really bad.
Delphi murder case. Since the arrest and since this case was, according to investigators, solved, things have gotten a lot.
I mean, I honestly don't feel sorry for this guy at all, but I do feel sorry for the fact that, if they can do this to him, they can do this to anybody. So that's the only reason why I'm saying, maybe they should do things kind of by the book here. But this, in my opinion, this case is headed to a mistrial, period. And nobody wants that. Nobody.
A lot more complicated. And it was already a very complicated case. So tonight we're going to try to walk through some of that to make it.
Hey, CJK, how are you? Good to see you, kiddo. You know, a lot of people say innocent people go to prison all the time, and that's, you know, that's true. It's like, what is it, 3 or 4%, maybe even a little higher than that. But guilty people walk too.
Little to kind of bring you up to speed so you can understand what is happening and what's at issue right now.
I mean, I keep bringing it up. The Alex Murdaugh case. You know, everybody thought that was over. Had a 7-week trial, and this douchebag just decides she wants to write a book, and she screws the whole thing up. And now they're gonna have another case. It's just, good Lord, you know, just do things by, you know, just do things the right way, do things by the legal way, and you shouldn't have any problems. But this case here, because these are the new lawyers that are saying this, so this isn't the old clowns. These are the new ones saying maybe they should move this guy again.
In this incredible tragedy, because it begins with two best friends, Abby and Libby, two young girls who were just going out for a hike. It was a day off from school, and they were just being kids. They were literally being kids.
What the hell is her name? Betty something. She decided she wanted to write a book, and she tampered with the jury. So they're gonna have another trial for Alex Murdaugh. It's probably gonna happen. Oop.
Let's go for how many of you, when you were young? Let's go. Let's just go. You know, let's go for a walk. Go in the woods. Go exploring. Go for a hike. Go. Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do. How badly do we want our children to do that, right? Get away from the phones, get away from the video games, and get outside. And that's what they were doing on an unseasonably warm day in Indiana in the winter. They were murdered. It was a horrible, horrible crime scene, the way it's been described. Horrible what happened to these best friends. And it took 5 years. And 5 years later, Richard Allen was arrested. Now, based upon the evidence that's been made public in some documents and arrest affidavit, my personal opinion is this case should have been solved like within a month, based upon the information, because a lot of the information that they used to get to Richard.
Oh yeah, and for the other people who came in, if I'm not, there's issues with my keyboard here. I'll be getting a new computer pretty soon. I love my computer. I don't want to get rid of it. But you know, I've almost had it with this thing. So my G and H letters aren't working, and my backspace isn't working. So if it takes me forever to type something, that's why. It's not that I'm trying to ignore people. It's just I'm trying to figure out how to type G and H, and everything that I write now on this freaking computer has to have a G and an H in it. Just weird.
Richard Allen, and to accuse Richard Allen was really available very, very early on. But that being said, it didn't happen, and eventually they did go back and take a look at.
I mean, how do you live without a backspace? You just can't. It's impossible.
Some reports, and they tracked him down, and they gathered what they believe is enough evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he is the killer. Now's when things get much more complicated. First, relative to the charges, the defense has said no, he's 100% innocent. Not that you don't have enough evidence to prove it. He's factually innocent, and we know who did it. The Odinists did it. The Odinists, these local.
I love this computer. This computer here, any computer that lasts like a year in my house is a good computer. But you know, even I at this point am thinking I might need something else. But you got to be careful what you wish for, because you might get it. You know, I've done that before. I've gone out and got another computer, and it sucks. You know, so when you get a good one, you keep it as long as you possibly can.
People, whether they're, I don't know, loosely affiliated or part of some local cult or religion that worship Odin, the ancient Nordic god, predates Christianity. And they believe the Odinists did it based upon several parts of their theory, including what the crime scene looked like, the way the bodies were, the way some sticks were arranged around there, some other information from different witnesses from the state's own investigation that they uncovered. All of that, they say, is pointing in one direction, that the Odinists did it. So that's one part of this that has gotten very complicated, because there were investigators who were believing the same thing that the defense is putting out there now. There was a big investigative team, but a couple of the investigators were really following up on the Odinist evidence related to this tragic double murder. So that's complicated.
The Odinist heave. Yeah, it's freaking classic. I knew exactly what you were saying the other night with the crocodile heave. I was laughing in my car.
It is, what actually happened to Libby and Abby. But now there's also legal drama, which has made the case even more complicated now, because there were some, and they've been very good, I guess is the word, about keeping information from the public, whether it's investigators, prosecutors, and now the court sealing things and not letting information out. And some photos from the crime scene leaked out, and it was traced back to the defense team. Not the lawyers that did it, but someone who went into their office and took snapshots, screenshots of a computer screen, and then disseminated those shots, those images out there. And some of you may have even
the Crocodile Heave band.
have seen them online. But all of this has led to problems with the defense team.
Two things I want to see in this case that I think are going to make or break this case. One is the actual tip narrative that was done in 2017, because I want to see exactly what was written down, who did it, how it was done, and what was exactly said. Because I don't think I've ever heard of a person of that stature, right? A conservation officer taking down an interview with a suspect. So it's just weird that happened. The second thing, I want to know exactly what Betsy Blair's statement is from who she saw on the bridge, because she's the only person that saw him other than Abby and Libby. That's to me, those are the two most important things in this case, is exactly what was written down in 2017 and what Betsy Blair saw.
Resigning or being coerced to get off the case, and now whether or not the judge should be presiding over this case, whether Richard Allen should.
All of these conspiracy theories, I have no use for them. I just don't. I don't buy any of the conspiracy theories. I'm not saying that this whole Odin thing is a conspiracy theory. I'm just saying I don't buy a lot of the stuff that's going around right now. I just don't. It's to me, it's just hogwash.
Should have the attorneys who put out the Odinist theory, or should have new attorneys. It's all up in the air, and it's very complicated.
Thanks for coming in, Mexi. Get some good sleep. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Thank you.
So let's go back in time. Let's go to October 19th, 2023. First time here at Court TV that we've got cameras inside of a trial court in Indiana, and the judge came out on the bench, and this happened.
We've had an unexpected turn of events, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier this afternoon.
If they get rid of this judge, I'll be shocked. I just will. I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't.
The defense attorneys have withdrawn their representation of Mr. Allen. Mr. Baldwin made an oral motion to withdraw. I granted that oral motion to withdraw, and Mr. Rosie will be submitting a written motion to withdraw, I'm assuming within the next couple of days.
So those attorneys want back on the case. They're claiming that they were coerced into resigning from the case by the judge in a meeting just before that hearing that day. that she was going to take him off the case and publicly.
But see, now they have these new attorneys that are claiming that he's being mistreated at another prison. So all I'm saying is there's a history going on here with this between the lawyers and other lawyers, and it's basically what you would call a trail of evidence here. So if I was these guys, especially the prosecution and anybody that's involved with this case, I'd knock it the hell off, because this case here, like I said, the last thing people want in this case is, man, if they lose this case, my Lord. All right, so I'm going to skip that. I'm going to this one now because this has also been happening. New information about this here. Here's this is about Sarah Boone. So she's the one who apparently stuck her boyfriend in a suitcase and let him stay there all night. He ended up dying in there, and she's had, I don't know, I think this is her 4th or 5th lawyer. So her trial date is going to start here soon, I think. And we'll go here. So this is the Sarah Boone case. I'll be following this one too if there's ever a trial here.
I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. And we're beginning this hour talking about a couple that a lot in common with Amber and Johnny. And Amber and Johnny, you watched the trial here on Court TV, had this very volatile relationship, toxic relationship, violent relationship. And it was up to a jury to figure out who was telling the truth, who was the aggressor, who was the victim, etc. And we saw how that one turned out. The jury came to the conclusion that Amber Heard was the aggressor. She was not the victim of domestic violence in that relationship. So now we're talking about two people.
Yeah, there's this case too, but they'll go into the Sarah Boone case after this, I think. I saw the interrogation on a channel, Stay Awake, I think it was, Stay Awake channel, where they did the initial interrogation of this person here. So
Courtney Clenny and Christian Obumseli. Here they are together. They weren't married, but they were a couple that lived together. She was an OnlyFans model. Those of you not familiar with OnlyFans, you pay a monthly fee and you can see people doing things that they can't do on other websites like Instagram or Facebook, okay? I'll leave it at that. So in this case, there again are these allegations kind of going back and forth. There's also a civil case in addition to the criminal case. Now, the criminal case is a murder case. She's accused of murdering him. He's dead. He was stabbed. And she's claiming...
She claims she accidentally flung the knife, but like just kind of like tossed it. Like, if you want to see a really good channel where they have interrogations, police interrogations, and all of this stuff, I'll try to find it. It's called Stay Awake Interrogations or something like that. But these people here, that's how I know about this OnlyFans model case, is because of that.
Self-defense, and she's the victim of Christian Obumseli. So you have the attorneys on both sides here pointing the fingers at each other. On one side, you've got the attorneys representing the Obumseli.
And you sit there and you watch these awesome detectives, right? Some of these guys are seasoned and they know exactly what to say. And sometimes they don't have to say a lot, you know, they just let these people walk into it. But she was one of them.
Family, the attorney, Kimberly Wald, she's on the left side of the screen. And on the right side of the screen are Courtney Clenny's defense attorneys, Frank Prieto and Sabrina Puglisi. So there have been some videos that have been released. This is the most famous one that we've seen many, many, many times. This is an elevator that goes directly up to the $12,000 a month apartment or condo that they were renting down in Miami. When I say they, it's really she was renting because she was the one making the money. She was the one paying the bills. Now, in this video, she's punching him a lot. And
That's a pretty good left hook there. I mean, that's a pretty good left hook.
we've seen that. And we've had the defense on to explain this, and they say that she was trying to get away from him, and this elevator would take her straight up to the apartment, and he followed her in there. And that's what's really going on here. You be the judge. Well, now we've got another new video that's been released. This comes to us from the law firm representing the family of Christian Novumceli, the young man who's dead, who was stabbed by Courtney Clenny.
Her interrogation was one of those classics for sure.
And take a look and a listen at this video. And again, you be the judge of what's going on in this relationship, because ultimately a jury will have to figure out what's going on in this relationship and what happened on the day that Christian Novumceli died. Let's take a look.
Anyway, like I was sober for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And now why am I not sober? Because of you. But you're hindering my progress.
You need to sit down. You need to
Let go of me. Let go of me.
come on.
Let go of me.
Okay.
Come on, boy. Let go of me. Like, I can't even, like, I'll tell you later. Like, you saw me.
You don't want to hit me.
Christian, he saw me, and I know he's looking. I'm fed up with you. I'm fed up. I'm fed up with that you treat me.
Courtney, you,
Yes, I'm not mad at
you
you.
let Moana say some lying that affected you.
I didn't let her say anything. You did.
Hey, let's go to Moana right now. Let's pull up to her.
No. I'm just getting scared to see.
No, she's in the group chat. Let's put her on the phone right now.
How dare you?
You hear me? Keep saying
You do it.
Then stop saying anything. Do it. Then stop saying anything. Then stop saying anything. Come on.
Like, let me get my
Ask her. Ask her, did I touch her breast
you see
yesterday?
how instigative he is?
No, you're telling me I touched her breast yesterday when I.
You did. I didn't say you touched it.
You said I did.
You were leaning. Yo, you were dumb as actually.
Dude, this right here. This can says a lot right here.
I don't want to be with you. Actually, I'm done.
Okay.
Can you send him home?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm done.
Okay, fine.
Done. Because you're costing me money. I didn't do. He's like, I'm in this house because of you.
You let Moana say some lying ass.
No, because of you. Flirting with like 3 girls the whole time.
What 3 girls? What 3 girls? You?
Well, maybe it doesn't matter.
You?
Milan.
Milan? I was flirting with Milan?
And she said, hey, come get your mans. She's trying to come home with me.
You're lying.
No, I'm not.
You're lying. She said, come get your man that I was trying to hit on Milan. Come on, baby.
Okay.
That doesn't even sound right.
Christian, you're fired.
Fine.
Hopefully, shut up.
You never
Hopefully,
see me again. You are the most
good taste. Shut up. Hopefully, you are.
Yeah, this is what you call a toxic relationship right here. This is not good.
You horny.
Dude, get the out of here. This isn't even my house.
Yeah, cool.
It's not my house. You're still my boyfriend. Get the out of here.
Just like your
I can actually.
If you're in this type of a relationship, you run as fast as you can. Just get the hell out of there.
Get the out of here. Not here.
Yeah.
Get the out of here.
Okay, I'll remember that next time.
Get out. No, that's not even here next time. Get the
Stop.
Get out.
Don't touch me again.
good thing. Get out, bitch. Get out.
Bitch.
You never
Ooh.
love me. The way you talk, the way you treated the girls, the way you embarrassed me. I don't want anything to do with you.
embarrassed you yesterday. You're really just self-conscious. You always talk about, oh, Christian, you like this. I said, what did I tell you before? You're the baddest person in this bitch. No one has anything on you. I tell you this every day. I have text messages that you say, Christian, thank you for the content.
Shut up! But you don't do it the next day.
Why are you screaming? There's people in this house.
Get out! Get out! Get out! For real. I never want to see you again.
Now remember, this is all happening in front of someone who's recording it. I think they're secretly recording it. I don't think they necessarily know, but they're doing it. They knowingly in front of someone. I'll tell you what I see and hear in that video. I hear someone who's got 2 million followers on Instagram and is making 7 figures and is really, really insecure in her relationship with Christian Obinselli. I mean, he's not making the money. She's making all the money. They're living this lifestyle because of her. Yet she's very seemingly insecure in all of this. And when they get into these arguments, every video I've seen, she's slapping and punching him. Now, here's what her defense team has released in response to this video. This video is an example of the toxic relationship between Obinselli and Courtney Clenny. Evidence exists that Obinselli physically abused Courtney on prior occasions. And on April 3rd, 2020.
I don't know who was recording it. I think it was one of her, I don't want to say agents, but talent recruiters or something, or I don't know who was recording it. But she really tried to get out of the whole interrogation thing, like saying it was just an accident, or like, but they got her in that interrogation for sure.
22, Courtney was forced to
When you go to an interrogation room, you don't say anything to police. You just don't, because they will get it out of you. They'll figure out a way to get it out of you.
defend herself from Obinselli's physical attack. So if that evidence exists, it's going to be extremely important and significant at the trial. Because so far what's been released, and again, this is coming from the law firm representing his family, nothing makes her look good. So far, everything I've seen and heard makes her look like the violent one or the more.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that, you know, her abusing him and stuff like that. But, you know, guys do stuff like this on purpose. You know, they just, it's a game to them. You know, it's like, let's see how much we can, you know, it's just, I don't know. I don't want to say too much about it. I'm just saying that guys are notorious for you know, this whole game.
Violent one in the relationship.
And this is just one of those chicks that she wasn't putting up with it.
And there is evidence that she stabbed him before the day that she fatally stabbed him. So I don't know. We'll see at the trial what this other evidence is. By the way, tomorrow, big day here on Court TV tomorrow morning. One of Courtney's defense attorneys, someone from the team, looks like it's going to be Sabrina, will join Julie Grant on opening statements. That's tomorrow.
I mean, she definitely has issues. There's no doubt about it.
Morning, right here on your front row seat to justice. Make sure you check that out. In the meantime, Courtney Clenny does have a status hearing tomorrow, so that'll be important as well. So let's bring in our think tank. Joining us tonight in Atlanta, Georgia, criminal defense attorney Eklund Mercy. Also with us in Phoenix, Arizona, the lawyer who represented Jodi Arias, does not like her, Kirk Nurmi. And in Los Angeles, California, president of the West Coast Trial Lawyers and former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani. Okay, Eklund Mercy. I know this is a significant issue for you as well. You know, it never happened. Sarah Boone.
All right, I just fast forwarded it to the Sarah Boone trial start date thing, so we'll go over this, and then I got another one I want to go over.
Accused of locking her boyfriend in a suitcase and taunting him while he died. Tonight, the latest.
Hey, Karen Lee, how are you? Good to see you. Karen Lee's in the house. Shout out to Karen Lee. Hope you're well, Karen.
I was awakened by my brother screaming,
Pounding on the door.
This morning, when I found.
So this case here, this is one I was talking about before we went over the OnlyFans model case there. This is Sarah Boone here. She's being tried for basically putting her boyfriend in a suitcase and letting him stay there all night long until he died. And she's gone through 6 or 7 different lawyers now. So I'll try to cover this case too, because this woman here is just nuts.
Before you called. Yes. 1 o'clock right now. I tried. I was awake, but I actually got out of the bed at like 12:30.
Yeah, I'm alive. Thanks, Karen. I appreciate it. I'll tell you, last week was tough. I thought for sure I had COVID again, but I didn't. I just couldn't breathe. Walking from the car to the house was like difficult, but it was apparently a viral thing that's been going around. But I'm better now for sure.
30-ish, whatever. So I came downstairs and I was like, oh, he's in the suitcase still.
That's Sarah Boone. We've been tracking this case for quite some time. That's the moment with the officer who responds where she's talking about her
It's good to see you, Karen. Thank you for coming in.
boyfriend, George Torres, who was locked in a suitcase all night.
She basically just went to sleep while he was in the suitcase, and he couldn't get out. I don't know how that's possible.
Night long, all night long. These two had a bit of a toxic relationship as well.
You think?
And he ended up dying inside of a suitcase. Now, she called 911 originally saying they were playing hide and seek. It's not clear what was going on. She told a couple different stories. But then investigators took a look at her cell phone. And on her cell phone is her speaking to and taunting George while she's recording it all. It's bizarre. He's inside a suitcase.
I'm telling you, man, Karen Lee, one of the greatest people in the world. Thanks for coming in, Karen. I appreciate it. She's in everybody's chat. She's a great moderator. She does a lot with Manimal Reacts Live, and she does Chris's channel. She's a great person.
Begging for his life. I'm going to show you that video, and it's difficult to look at, but it's the most important evidence in the case because it shows
the mob crew.
What was happening at the moment he is begging her to just let him out, that he can't breathe. So we're going to take a look at it right now. I've given you the warning. If you don't want to hear it, you can turn down the volume. If you don't want to see it, it's about 2 minutes worth of video. Let's look.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
You.
Sarah.
He's in there.
You.
Sarah.
Stupid.
Sarah.
That's my name. Don't wear it up.
That was my intention, Karen. No, Karen, you're awesome. Who would let somebody put somebody in there? Like, I'm not going in there, period. So I don't know how somebody would let somebody else put somebody in there. Like, I don't, but apparently they were pretty shit-faced.
I can't breathe, babe. Seriously.
Yeah, that's when you do when you choke me.
Sarah. Sarah.
Yes, Southern Gal is awesome too. Mecky, whoever, everybody that's in here is awesome.
Sarah.
There's somebody actually in this suitcase, if you can believe it.
Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
That's on you.
Sarah, I can't breathe.
It's on you.
Sarah.
That's got to be a horrible way to go right there, man. You can't get out of that.
Real or handsome. Might want to get video for it extra. Because I got this.
Sarah.
Real or handsome.
Sarah.
Yeah, CJK is awesome too.
Sarah. I can't breathe, babe.
Oh, that's what I feel like when you drink on me.
Sarah.
You.
Breathe, Sarah.
Yeah. You should probably shut the f up.
This is awful.
And once investigators found that video, the whole nature of the case changed. Now, pretrial hearing coming up on January 16th. The trial once again scheduled for January 26th. Take a look at this video. This is the last time that she was in court.
She keeps changing her lawyers. Like the last lawyer, she claimed wasn't spending any time with her, had too many clients or something like that. So she got another lawyer. I don't know how this shit happens, but it does.
When she was approved to get her 7th attorney, which led to.
I don't know. I'm assuming it didn't take too long. Couple hours maybe. When you're in a suitcase like that, some of those suitcases are basically there's no air coming in them whatsoever.
Their trial getting postponed for the 13th time. The first 12 postponements took place from July 27th of.
I think they were both drunk too, so that didn't help. She technically just went to sleep.
2020 to July of 2023. 12 times it's postponed over the course of 3 years. And you talk about, and it's all happening because she keeps getting new attorneys. These attorneys are finding it impossible to work with her. So let's bring back in our think tank, Eklund Mercy, Kirk Nurmi, and Nima Rahmani. So here we are. Let me ask you about the trial. If this thing ever happens, how important is the fact, and these are all the postponements and cancellations that we've had, how important is it, Nima, when you talk about how he got inside of that suitcase? I can't imagine. I mean, he had to voluntarily get in there, I would think.
Really? I didn't hear that. I didn't. All I know is that she's claiming that she was too drunk to, right? I don't think she's claiming she didn't do it. She's just claiming that it was just an accident, I think. I don't know what her defense is.
I don't think he could zip himself in there, but I don't know. How important is that fact, and will it play a role in all of this?
Well, Vinny, it's an interesting legal argument, but it's not going to carry the day. It's not a civil case, right? So it's a criminal case, and the question is, did Boone have a duty to act? Well, she zipped him up. So once you put someone in danger, that puts the duty on you to save the person from danger. So, I'm sure the appellate lawyers will love it. But this is really an indefensible case. Criminal defendants lie all the time, but video doesn't lie. So Sarah Boone is going to be convicted. And I think the lesson of the show is, poor Jorge Torres to be in a relationship with someone like this. Christian Obenseli, same thing, toxic relationship. And they see Tucker, maybe he turned his life around by ending up with the right person. But I don't see how any attorney can defend this case. I thought Boone would be the next pro se defendant here on Court TV, but apparently
She's had 7 lawyers, 7 defense attorneys.
Some poor lawyer that's going to take this case and throw up a Hail Mary, and we'll see if there's any chance of her maybe picking up 1 or 2 jurors here.
And we've also heard, Eklund, through the years now, that one of the potential defenses might be that she's a battered woman. That it's going to be, the relationship is very volatile, it's very toxic. She's been beaten by him, she's been strangled by him, and this is what the result was.
She can't use that. I think the video is damning, and all I would have to do is just play that video.
Yeah, in my opinion, all they got to do is play that video in the courtroom, and that's pretty much the end of her. But that's probably why she's, like Southern Gal said here, it's a stall tactic. She's probably just, she knows what she's going to get.
And by the third Sarah, in which the victim is calling your name,
Hey, Miracle Hearts, how are you? It's Miracle Hearts, everybody. Thank you for coming in, Miracle Hearts. Hope you're doing well. Whatever you do, don't get that viral thing that's going around. It's terrible.
You lose any defenses. He is constantly calling for help. He is advocating for his help, and you denied it. So the issue is, I've actually represented clients like that. The problem is that you have a defendant who the only thing that she's waiting for you to say is how to get out of prison. That's it. You have to make, she is just waiting for she is waiting for an answer to get out. So any attorney who cannot tell her how to get out, she is going to fire. So I think that the judge at this point needs to make a judgment call.
I'll try to cover the Delphi thing on the 18th, probably at night, because I usually sleep during the day, but I'm not expecting much to happen on the 18th, but if something does happen, I'll probably try to cover it.
On how many more postponements, because she's going to do this until the end of time.
Kirk Nurmi, you know something about representing difficult clients. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, if it's the same one I had, don't get it. It's terrible. Nothing worked. I mean, I've very rarely taken inhalers, but that was the only thing that seemed to work a little bit. I thought for sure, like I said, I had COVID again, but it wasn't that for sure.
I'm stunned that she's been allowed to go through so many lawyers. I think lawyer number 6, we heard in that clip, you're talking about her demeaning response to him. She couldn't keep going with the representation. If that's the standard, everybody could just yell at their public defender and they get a new attorney and they never get convicted. Ultimately, the judge needs to draw the line here. Eklund's right.
She's going to get convicted. It's just a matter of how much time she's going to get.
Right, in terms of this case, I think about it. You know, if I was going in there talking to Sarah, I'd say, listen, the evidence is all on this tape. It's all in this 2 minutes. You're gonna get convicted. The jury is gonna loathe you.
I mean, I remember years and years ago, they had issues with those old refrigerators. Remember those old refrigerators that had the handles on the outdoor, on the door on the outside? Those were bad refrigerators because if kids used to go in those things and lock themselves in there and never come out. So it's possible, you know, to do stuff like that. But to do this to somebody else is just, you know, that video that they just played is pretty damning to her.
You can certainly go up on the stand and say, hey, I was a victim of all this domestic abuse. They're not going to believe you because they saw you laughing and taking delight in this man's death. They are going to be tone deaf to whatever you're saying, and you're going to be convicted in an hour or less, and you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison.
Yeah, she's a goner for sure. She's, like I said, she's just probably, like Southern Gal said, she's probably just trying to buy some time. So I do want to play this here too, because this happened. I hope this is the right one, because I don't want to play the ear piercing. Hold on a second here. All right, so let me. This is pretty. Yeah, remember those old refrigerators? They used to have people used to, you know, they were the olden style refrigerators. People who were born in the 60s or 70s probably know about those. They had the big, huge handles on the outside, and once you shut the door, it was locked. You couldn't get out from the inside. So a lot of people used to just take those handles off of those, but there was a lot of people that died in those things. All right, so this is the case about Deobra Redden. This guy attacked the judge in court, and he's facing murder charges for that attack.
For that attack, you've seen the video. It went viral last week, showing Deobra
This guy just went off.
Redden vaulting over the bench of Judge Mary Kay Holthus and then attacking her while she was sentencing him. It took several people to subdue the flying felon, and he's now.
Okay, but wow, every time I see that, how does this happen in court? Right? Oh God, I got to see that again. That is just so. I mean, I shouldn't be laughing. It's just so funny. But how does this happen in court, right? Like, you have security in there, you got cops, you got. My God, this guy just, and he's literally standing on the other side of a bench that's right down in here. So he just.
Last week, showing Deobra Redden vaulting over the bench of Judge Mary Kay Holthus and then attacking her while she was sentencing him. It took several people.
How does this happen?
People to
right?
subdue the
It just-
flying felon.
You just can't make this shit up, man. I've seen this now like 100 times, and every time I see it, I mean, it's not funny. I shouldn't be laughing, but there's armed police officers that are back. You don't see it. They're back here, and they just did absolutely nothing.
And he's now facing 15 new charges. But before we bring in our guests, let's listen back to some of that hearing that got underway earlier today.
Hello, are you Mr. Redden?
I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing, but this guy here is fucked up.
Hello. Okay, I have a few housekeeping matters to handle.
Look at all the guys they got now. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He ain't going nowhere.
Before we handle his case, in anticipation of me appointing the public defender to represent him, there are multiple media requests. There were multiple orders that were signed in initial appearance court. I have
This guy right here is like, we're going to be here all day.
amended several media orders
Look at this guy.
to not allow live streaming because I do not allow live streaming. So to the extent initial appearance court allowed live streaming, I have amended all of those orders to remove that. I have filed amended orders yesterday. There are some new orders that I need to rule on.
I mean, I laugh at the stupidest things sometimes, but that was a classic. My Lord, how in this day and age when you have so many, shootings that happen and stuff like that, and for this guy to be able to do this in a court of law with all these people, it's just, how does it happen? Look at how different it is now. He's like surrounded by 6 guards, right? She's like 100 feet from this guy. Like it's.
One from KLAS, one from Univision, one from Associated Press, and one from Fox 5. Does the state have any opposition to these media requests? Your Honor, I'll submit it to the defense. Does the defense? I'll submit it to the court. Okay, I'm going to sign.
Yeah, that's like he was standing like right here. So he literally came around this way. Oh.
And approve these media requests. They are not for live streaming, and they are only for any sort of media that the media requested. All right, as for disclosures, before I arraign Mr. Redden, I want to disclose under.
I think what happened was, hey, Dandelions, how are you? Good to see you. I apparently she was supposed to go a little bit more lenient with this guy, the other judge that got attacked, but she didn't, and that's why he got upset.
Judicial Canon 2.11, comment 5, that I do know Judge Mary Kay Holthus.
Oops, sorry, I screwed up again. Sorry. Hold on a second. Thank you. Let me bring this back here. Okay, there we go.
Canon 2.11, comment 5, that I do know Judge Mary Kay Holthus. I know her very casually and only professionally.
I do it all the time. I stop sharing one video and it's the wrong one all the time. No, sorry, Karen. Senior moment.
I've never socialized with her outside, say, a professional event. I do, for instance, not know her phone number. I don't think she knows mine. We're not connected on social media. I've never worked at the district attorney's office, where I believe she worked for her entire career. Her daughter is a deputy district attorney on my track. However, the team chief has assured me that
If you ever want to have a good time, and if you have some time on your hand, I used to do this years ago. I used to go to court just to listen to some of these court proceedings that go on during the day. I mean, it's just, some of these people are just so damn stupid. It's classic.
Kennedy Holthus will not appear on any of Mr. Redden's appearances. Therefore, I see no reason to recuse. However, I make those disclosures under Rule 2.11, Comment 5. Mr. Redden, have you been given a copy of the criminal complaint this morning?
Yes, I have been given one.
You're being charged with count 1, attempt murder, victim 60 years of age or older, a felony. Count
Yeah, there should be like this buzzer or something when you do something stupid like this on StreamYard, but there isn't. So
2, battery on a protected person resulting in substantial bodily harm, victim 60 years of age or older, a felony. Count 3, extortion by threat, a felony. Count 4, intimidating a public officer.
it ain't as bad as my typing, Miracle Hearts, because my G, my H, and my backspace don't work. So I've had to break out tablet mode on my computer, so it just sucks. All right, so let's go back here.
Felony. Count 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all battery on an officer, the same name victim. Oh, and by the way, I do not know any of the other victims named in the criminal complaint. Those are all felony offenses. Count 10, performance of act or neglect of duty and willful or wanton disregard of safety or persons of property resulting.
So there's that. That happened. I just wanted to show you guys that because I saw that couple days ago and I thought it was pretty classic. I did want to play this too because this happened. Let me share the screen. Yeah, it's like all of a sudden now and I've cleaned my keyboard, the G, the H, the backspace don't work. And it seems like every time that happens, the only words I type ever have a G and an H in them. So it's just, so they've arrested, or they didn't arrest anybody, but they linked this, there's 3 unsolved murders in Virginia to this Virginia guy here. And he's probably been responsible for a lot more than that, but I wanted to share this too. This is an old case here.
The suspect is now deceased. The authorities say Alan Wilmer Sr., who died in 2017 at the age of 63, was responsible for killing 20-year-old David Nobling and 14-year-old Robin Edwards in an Isle of Wight wildlife refuge.
Have a good night, CJK. Thank you for coming in. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Refuge area. In 1987, the pair found shot to death on the shoreline of Ragged Island. Edwards had been sexually assaulted. They say Wilmer also killed 29-year-old Teresa Lynn Howell in the city of Hampton in 1989. Her body was found at a construction site. She'd been strangled to death and had been sexually assaulted as well. Law enforcement says Wilmer never had felonies on his record.
So this is named a suspect in the 3 murders back in 1987 and 1989. So that's awesome. A little late, but it's awesome that they finally linked something to these cases here. But there's also, I'll play the other one too, the Colonial Parkway murder case. They think he's tied to some of those too.
So his DNA was only collected after his death. A deep review of the cases led to that discovery.
And then that's when it was discovered that Wilmer had passed away.
and decided let's follow through on that and see if there's genetic material that we can and he wasn't the only suspect that was submitted to the Department of Forensic Science. The Department of Forensic Science had actually identified a common suspect between the Hampton and the Isle of Wight County cases a couple of years ago, but because he was never in the system, he was never in the CODIS database, there was no hits. We had a common suspect. He just had not been identified.
Now, investigators say Wilmer made a living as a fisherman, harvesting oysters and clams, and had a tree service as well. His family issued a statement expressing shock, saying the revelations did not depict the man they knew. They say they mourn with the families of his victims and are cooperating with law enforcement. Police are asking anyone who fished with him or even just hung out with him to contact authorities to see if he could be linked to other killings as well. There were 4 separate double homicides along the so-called Colonial Parkway murders between 1986 and 1989. Cheryl?
Interesting reaction to yesterday's big news and 3 murders dating back to the 1980s. One of those was from 1987 and was deemed one of these so-called Colonial Parkway murders. The suspect, who is now dead, was named. Tonight, an author who wrote about the string of murders says he knows a little something about that suspect. 10 on your side's Andy Fox, who has been on this story from the beginning, is following up. Andy.
Yeah, Regina, the author, Blaine Pardoe, says the suspect, Alan Wilmer, was well known to the FBI. He was an early suspect in the 1988 killings of Keith Call and Cassandra Haley, 7 months after the killings of David Knobling and Robin Edwards.
Then when I saw the picture of the truck, it was like a gut punch.
This is a picture of Alan Wilmer's pickup truck with a vanity tag, EM Raw. Author Blaine Pardoe writes about that pickup in his book on page 208, how it fit the FBI's Waterman profile, who may have been involved in the disappearance of Cassandra Haley and Keith Call in April 1988. That truck owned by Alan Wilmer Sr.
They got a warrant, got in there, and they didn't find anything that tied him to Call Haley. But for God's sake, this is something that they had the guy, they had him, and he got away.
We asked Pardoe why in his book, and he notes this, the license plate is Eat Them and not EM Raw.
Well, I did that because the FBI.
Yeah, I'll look into that too. Teresa Black. Yeah, for sure. There's just so many cases going on right now.
Cleared this person. And the last thing I wanted to do, if this person still had that license plate, is have a lot of attention drawn to this person when they may very well have been innocent or cleared.
We reached out to the FBI, and a spokesperson confirms Wilmer.
I mean, he looks pretty creepy here and here, but
Wilmer was an early suspect, along with others, in the Call Haley disappearance. Special agent in charge at the time, Irv Wells, who passed away in May of 2022, told us they had to let the suspect go, but Wilmer's name never mentioned to us.
They were both polygraphed by one of the Bureau's best polygrapher, and it was his opinion that they were not involved.
Did I talk about that one 2 weeks ago? Teresa Black? I thought I might have covered that one before.
The FBI says there is no DNA evidence at this time connecting Wilmer to any of the other Colonial Parkway murders.
So, to say that there's no evidence that links him to him. So, to say that there's no evidence that links him to him.
Colonial Parkway.
It's kind of weird because you got a guy here. That's a guy. That's a guy. So there's a whole bunch of different. There's not one particular MO here.
Murders.
So, to say that there's no evidence that links him to him, I would add the words "as of right now."
I spoke with the FBI today, and they really want your help. If you know anything about Alan Wilmer, even though he's dead, please call the FBI tip line, 1-800-CALL-FBI.
All right, so what am I doing now? I'm going to go here. One more on this here.
New at 6 this week marks a somber anniversary. It's been 30 years since the violent killings of Robin Edwards and David Knobling.
Their deaths are part of 4 gruesome cases infamous in our area, the Colonial Parkway murders. Tonight, Laura Geller sits down with Robin's family, and they have a message for investigators. Laura.
Well, guys, 30 years hasn't softened the blow of losing 14-year-old Robin Edwards in such a brutal and mysterious way. Virginia State Police tell me this is an ongoing investigation. While there's no physical evidence to link all the murders because they are similar, VSP is working together with the FBI.
So this was done a couple of days ago. Colonial Parkway murders are a series of unsolved double murders that happened in southeastern Virginia in the mid to late 1980s. I'm telling you, southeastern Virginia is not a good place to be either. On January 8th, 2024, authorities announced the 1987 murders of Robin Edwards and David Knobling in Isle of Wight County has been solved. Right. So we knew that.
But tonight, Robin's family is pleading for action on the case and for answers.
Yes.
The saying goes, no parent should have to bury their child. It's just not supposed to happen that way. But for Robin Edwards' mom, Bonnie Dotson, the way it's not supposed to happen is a reality she lives with every day.
Maybe we'll never know who killed Robin.
Jeanette Santiago sits close to her mother, the two literally leaning on each other as they talk about the death of their beloved daughter and sister.
She missed out on her entire life.
Jeanette was just 19 when her younger sister was taken from them.
I think about sometimes what kind of mom she would have been. I think about the fact that she doesn't get to have children.
Bonnie says even 30.
Yes, Dandy, I'll play that right after this. I just found it on Teresa Blackjurors. Yep.
Years later, her last conversation with one of her children is fresh in her mind. It was on September 19th, 1987, after Robin had gone out with David Knobling, his brother and cousin.
I told her that she had to be home by 11, and she called me about 11:15 and let me know that she was home safe.
But home safe for Robin wouldn't last. She snuck out of the house the family now.
I mean, Virginia is such a beautiful state. It really is. Especially if you drive west to east through the mountains. It's just an absolutely amazing place.
Now knows to meet David Knobling. At first, Bonnie thought maybe her daughter had run away, as she had done in the past. But a couple days later, David's truck was found abandoned. And 2 days after that, the bodies of David and Robin were found at Ragged Island Wildlife Refuge in Isle of Wight. Both had been shot to death.
You can't believe the sound that a human person can make when that kind of shock hits. It was just like somebody ripped my heart out.
As the anniversary of Robin's death draws near, they feel they are no closer to knowing what happened to her. The FBI tells us it is investigating alongside Virginia State Police. The agencies are sharing information on this case, the killing of a couple the year before, and 2 other double homicides committed in the next 2 years. They are collectively known as the Colonial Parkway murders, and none of them are solved or closed.
If you dwell on it too much, it's a burning anger. But yet at the same time, you have no direction for the anger.
For direction.
Yeah, there's a place we stop at in right next to Busch Gardens in Virginia. Usually when we go through to go to South Carolina or Florida. I forget the freaking name of it now, but it's a really nice time. When I've had the timeshare, it's a really nice place. It's right in God, now I can't remember the name of the place, but it's awesome. We go there all the time.
They look to investigators. They hope stories like this serve
Something Plantation Resort. Really nice.
as a reminder to keep working the case, that the search for answers 30 years later is still important to Robin's surviving family.
We're still here. We still care about it. It's a cold case, but it's not cold in our heart.
They say time heals all wounds, but for the families of the 8 people killed in what's known as the Colonial Parkway murders, 3 decades hasn't done that.
It's awesome when they finally get these guys. I know this guy here is dead, but
this week marks the 3rd.
If any of the family members are alive still, this kind of brings a little bit of to the whole thing.
30th anniversary of one of those cases, the violent killings of Robin Edwards and David Knobling. Tonight, Laura Geller sits down.
Yeah, it's in Williamsburg. Is it in Williamsburg? Yes. It's a great freaking place. We love it there.
Down with Knobling's family.
David Knobling and Robin Edwards were last seen alive by their families a few days before their bodies were found. 30 years later, the case has not been solved. Now, David's brother is speaking out on his search for answers.
It's a diamond resort for sure. Because I remember we found this place years ago by accident when we were going through Virginia. We needed a place to stay, and all the places that we were staying had no internet. And I remember walking into this place and like plush everything. It was just really great. And the first thing I said to the receptionist, I'm like, please tell me you guys have internet here. And she's like, well, of course we have internet. We're a diamond resort. I'm like, oh, thank God. Anyways, okay.
For Mike Knobling, this garage is a second home of sorts. And it's not just because it's a glorified man cave, complete with a TV surround sound system.
And then there's Brandon Hooks.
And any...
Like when you have kids and you go on vacation, I don't know about you guys, but I need space. You know what I mean? I need my own room. If I'm in like a regular hotel room and I got 2 kids, you know, and the wife, it's like, so I have to have, you know, when we go on vacation, it has to be, you know, separate rooms for sure. Can't be just like a one room. I'd go nuts.
Tool he could ever want. There is one tool out of his entire collection that has become a cherished possession.
Let's see, which one is it? The Snap-on 3/4 inch. The box end. This was David's wrench. It's the only one I have of his.
David is Mike's brother, a brother who was taken from his family in a brutal and mysterious killing in 1987. The eldest Knobling was a gearhead, and Mike...
All right, so let's get out of here. That's the end of that. I just wanted to bring this up because I saw this. Let's play this. I'm going to play this one here. All right, so this was requested by Dandy here. This is the juror speaking out in the Teresa Black case. So let's.
Williams' body at the time of his death. However, not a single medical expert that spoke to us could tell us the dosage, whether it was toxic or therapeutic.
So I don't think I know anything about this case, just to let you know.
Therefore, the law states that if it's done with malice, then we can convict someone of cruelty to children. And malice in this instance does mean to do something, willingly doing something, knowing that it will cause a victim.
Yeah, I do. I have girls. They're 2 girls. But I cannot live without my fan. Like, I have to have a fan. If I don't have a fan going, I'm not going to sleep. It's just not happening. And I can't sleep in the bed with my wife without noise. There's some sort of white noise. I'll go sleep in the bathtub. I don't care. So I need space. I can't handle it when we go on vacation.
Mental or physical pain. And we could not come to say that what she did with the medicine did that. And that's why we couldn't convict on the first felony. The second, the other felony is cruelty to children by not seeking medical care. And that one was a little bit more difficult. However, at the same time, once again, there wasn't enough evidence to support that Teresa knew her child was showing enough symptoms to take medical care or to seek medical care. We also don't believe that William was here very long. And that also helps in our findings about the case.
Let's talk about the jawbone, the fracture. Did you think that she didn't abuse him? Well, I guess tell us why.
All right. As far as the aggravated assault charge, there was zero evidence that suggested that the fracture happened to William before he passed away. And unfortunately, that's all we could go on was what the evidence was. The medical examiners and people that looked at the bones, it was at least 3 people that had medical certified reports as experts that stated that this could have happened with animal scavenging.
Okay, so apparently in this case, a 46-year-old mother on Wednesday was found not guilty of murder in the death of her young son more than 20 years ago, bringing resolution to a case that stumped investigators for decades. Teresa Ann Bailey Black was found not guilty by a dozen DeKalb County jurors on 2 counts of each felony and cruelty to children, as well as a single count of aggravated assault. Black was found guilty of concealing her son's death, but not. So she was found guilty of concealing it, but not. We're very pleased that Teresa was found not guilty on 5 counts. We're thankful the jury focused on the facts and the evidence. All right, I'll go back to the this
post-mortem, and that's all we had to go on. Therefore, we could not convict on assault.
You don't think that the fact that a friend had seen her abuse her child in the past, that played into this at all? That
was a part of the discussion. However, due to the actual statement that she made, she did mention.
And I don't know about you guys, but if I don't get sleep, worse than that, if I don't have coffee after sleep, then I'm just not the same type of person. if I have those 2 things, sleep and coffee are very, very much important in my life. If I don't have the coffee, I might as well not even wake up.
Seeing Teresa push her son once or twice, she also stated that it was never any sign of abuse, and she never was worried about abuse. So that's all we could go on is what she said. And for Ava to have been.
You guys can post any channels you want in here. I don't care, as long as they're not,
been with her almost every day for at least 4 years, as stated, only 2 times is not enough to.
The Southern Gal has a great channel. I was just on there yesterday.
Assume that Teresa Black did hit her child.
How did you feel about her lying at first when she just
Hello, Jocelyn. How are you? Thanks for coming in. High winds. Yeah, we're going to get that tomorrow or Sunday. Is this what you wanted me to play, Dandy?
tended to not know?
Yeah, we got another massive storm coming our way here, but looks like it's going to be mostly rain here. Rain here, though, in January is never a good thing.
Well, me personally, I have come to the conclusion that yes, she was a liar, and it was very disgusting to go back and look at all of her lies. However,
so they charged her with concealing the body, but they didn't charge her with the actual crime. That's why I love Jocelyn's icon here. Drink coffee. That's coffee is important.
In this case, none of her lies.
None of this is happening without coffee. Just not.
Like, her lies were not what she was being charged with. Yes, she may be not a great human. She may have been a failing mother who was trying her best. However, those were not the charges that the jury had to find Teresa Black guilty on.
Did the public? Sorry.
You guys spent about 6 hours deliberating this. I mean, you guys put a lot of thought in this to make sure that you guys came to the right conclusion. How are you feeling with what you guys came to, your good verdict?
I honestly, I am satisfied that we were able to come to a verdict. However, I personally...
Is it strange to have jurors talk like this?
Am I happy that we were not able to find her guilty on these charges? No, I'm not happy. It does make me a little unsettled. However, the charge of the jury was to...
You don't drink coffee, Southern Gal? I tried tea a couple times. It's not the same thing.
Find the defendant guilty or not guilty based on the evidence and testimony heard in court, and they did not do that. And it is not our fault that they weren't successful to do that. We just had to do what we had to do.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Yes, you did do it.
Oh, okay, so they did charge her with something. So she got 10 years for concealing. All right, so I wanted to play this here because I missed doing this because I was off last week, but they did arrest somebody in the Savannah Soto case. Remember, we did that a couple weeks ago, and I think they arrested somebody else, but let's play this first here.
We begin with breaking news.
All right, let me know if everybody can hear that because it's kind of low here. So if anybody doesn't know about this case, this is the Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra. They were found unalived, capital murder case. Last week we covered this, I think.
It's now at 4. San Antonio police make a third arrest in connection to the capital murder case of Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra. 19-year-old Christopher Preciado has been charged with capital murder, and his father, Ramon Preciado, also charged on abuse of a corpse. Then today, Murder Romanos was taken into custody, accused of helping move the bodies of the couple to the location where they were later found off Danny Kaye Drive. KENS 5's Vanessa Croy has more on the arrest of the stepmother. Vanessa.
Well, Deborah, according to an arrest warrant, officers discovered the murder weapon that Romanos allegedly hid behind a locked door.
But does tea actually wake you up? I mean, does it have that kind of thing? Because, that's the thing I like about coffee is it actually wakes me up. I don't know if tea does that. Then again, I've never drank a lot of tea. I used to drink a lot of iced tea years ago, but iced tea will give me way too much agita, what they call heartburn.
In her bedroom, and shell casings from the victim's car later matched that gun and Romanos admitted to police that it was hers. But it was a new piece of critical evidence that eventually cracked the case, leading them to believe a third person was involved, and the arrest today of Mirta Romanos. Now, let's all started on December 23rd when Savannah Soto didn't show up at the hospital where she was scheduled to be induced and deliver her baby. 3 days later, Matthew Guerra's car was discovered parked in an apartment complex near the medical center.
I don't drink as much coffee as I used to. Like I used to drink hot coffee all day years ago. Now I don't. But I get my iced coffees for that.
Inside, officers found the bodies of Soto and Guerra. Both had been shot and killed. Investigators reviewed surveillance video that revealed key evidence to the case. In the video, Guerra's car is seen pulling up to the complex along with a Chevy truck.
You guys are all awesome. I really appreciate you guys coming in tonight. Appreciate it. Sorry I wasn't on here last week. I was deathly ill.
A man police say is Ramon Preciado got out of the truck, and Ramon appears to be talking to the driver of the victim's car, who police believe was Christopher Preciado. Then that video appears to show another person.
That's too funny, Danny. I drink herbal tea after massive amounts of coffee consumption.
Inside the truck toss a towel to Ramon as he then tried to wipe fingerprint evidence off the victim's car. And now,
could you imagine being in a Waffle House, right? You got Steve there with Mrs. Steve late at night, right? And then next thing you know, Steve's just arresting 14 people and hauling them out in paddy wagons. Squirrel.
now, according to police, new surveillance video.
Apparently, it was either a Waffle House or a Shoney's where he arrested 14 people in one night. Unbelievable.
Led to the arrest of Mirta Romanos.
That video surveillance shows her at the home right after the murders, and she was seen on video surveillance leaving in that black truck that we all saw on the surveillance video, and then returning to her home with Christopher and
Flu A, is it strain A that's going around? That's fantastic. Oh, that sucks. Just stay safe. The flu is nothing to get at.
And Ramon in that truck.
Especially A.
And police tell us they do not believe anyone else is involved. Tonight, Romanos is facing 3 charges, including abuse of a corpse and tampering with evidence. For now, reporting live downtown at police headquarters, Vanessa Croykins live.
All right, so we'll play this.
ABC 30 Action News Live at 11 starts now.
3 arrests tonight in connection to 4 deaths in a quiet Reedley neighborhood. Police say a 17-year-old is the one who killed all 4 people. The teen is the son of 34-year-old Bryn Curtis, who was also taken into custody alongside her boyfriend.
Has anybody heard of this one here? This was 2 days ago. A teenager and 2 adults have been arrested after 4 people were found unalived in a neighborhood in Reedley this week. 17-year-old boy has been arrested on 4 counts of homicide.
21-year-old Rafael Gonzalez on charges of accessory after the fact.
The first 3 bodies were found at a home on Church Avenue in Reedley on Saturday. The 4th victim was discovered this morning at the house next door.
Action News anchor Nick Garcia has been covering the story since it broke on Saturday. He joins us now live from Reedley with a stunning update. Nick?
Well, Margot Warren, this investigation has grown significantly since those first victims were discovered on Saturday. It's now crossed city lines. This morning, police served a search warrant at this house here in Reedley. Search warrants were also served at houses in nearby cities, Parlier and...
I'm pretty sure that's what I had was the RSV that Dandy's talking about here, because it just, I mean, I smoke a lot, so I get it anyways, but this one here was weird because the cough just wouldn't go away.
Selma. A break in the mysterious case of the killing of 4 people in Reedley. Saturday morning, the bodies of 81-year-old Billy Bonds, 44-year-old Guadalupe Bonds, and a third person were found at this house on Church Avenue. Family later gave Action News access to the backyard where at least 2 of the bodies were found, showing our cameras what appears to be a shallow grave they believe was dug for one of the victims.
Devastated. This is terrible that any family has to go through this, let alone my family.
Investigative leads led our police department to author 3 search warrants, one here in the city of Reedley, one in the city of Parlier, and one in the city of Selma.
This is the house searched in Selma, where a vehicle police say is connected to the case was found. This house in Parlier also has a related vehicle. Both have been impounded. On Tuesday morning, a 4th body was found in the detached garage of the neighboring house in Reedley. Police now say the killer was also right next door. A 17-year-old boy was arrested for all 4 homicides. Authorities say his mother, 34-year-old Bryn Curtis, and her boyfriend, 21-year-old Rafael Gonzalez, were also arrested for accessory after the fact.
We have had some phenomenal detective work being done over the last 24 and 48 hours.
Reedley City Manager Nicole Ziba says she understands the typically quiet neighborhood is likely on edge by the news of these crimes.
It does not appear in any way that this was a random crime, a random set of crimes. And so I would want our community to understand that they are safe.
It's just heart-wrenching that something like this is happening. There's a lot of questions that are still left unanswered.
Among those unanswered questions, why the 17-year-old would kill his neighbors. And police have not said if that man found this morning is 43-year-old Matthew Bonds, Guadalupe's husband, who also lived at the house next door and has been considered missing since Saturday. We're waiting for police to identify that man found today and that 3rd victim found on Saturday. Live in Reedley, I'm Nick Garcia, ABC 30.
This is a violent crime.
So all 4 family members identified in Reedley murder. So this must have been done after that last one. This is horrible.
Crime that should never occur in any community. But this violent crime occurred in our community.
New developments today in the murders of 4 family members in Reedley. Police have now identified all of the victims and arrested.
Thank you, Dandy. It's horrible. I never go to the doctor. Like, it literally has to be an act of Congress to go to the doctor. But last week, my doctor actually called me and said, you probably might want to go get seen. So that's where I was last Friday night. That's why I wasn't on here. I was over there for 3 hours. It was there for forever, and they're like, nothing we can do for you. Sorry. I'm like, great.
A teenage suspect and 2 alleged accessories, but they believe that more people may have played a role in the deadly violence. Good afternoon. I'm Graciela Moreno.
And I'm Dale Yarong. Today, Reedley's police chief also spoke about a possible motive for the murders. Action News reporter Cassandra Gutierrez has been covering the tragic case all week. She joins us live from the neighborhood with the disturbing way one victim was found and what family members are now sharing. Cassandra.
Dell and Graciela, the families are distraught, and there is a growing memorial here at the home where 3 of the 4 victims were found. The victims' loved ones are in fear right now as 2 people arrested in the case have posted bail, but they are also focused on finding justice. Loved one.
Yeah, this is horrible. I'm just finding out about this right this very second.
Are grieving the loss of 4 family members found murdered in Reedley. We spoke with one of their relatives whose face we are hiding because of their fear.
It's just been a shock because it never should have happened. You know, it's.
Yeah, I called. My doctor told me to go, and I wasn't going to, because I hate going to the hospital. I just hate it. If you're not sick, you're going to be sick by the time you leave the hospital. But I went anyways. I was there for 3 hours. They took x-rays, they took blood and stuff like that. So that's why I was probably there for 3 hours. And guy comes in, it's like, there's nothing we can do for you. Sorry, it's probably something viral. I'm like, great, thanks. But I feel better now, that's for sure.
You see it all the time on the news, but you never think that it's going to happen to you.
Saturday morning, Reedley police were called to this home on Church near Curtis for reports of a burglary. Officers found an empty safe that was pried open and initially discovered 2 bodies in the backyard. They were identified.
Can you imagine? Could you imagine that? It's unbelievable.
As 44-year-old Guadalupe Bonds and 81-year-old Billy Bonds. Detectives also noticed freshly dug dirt, which led them to Billy's 61-year-old.
Thank you, Miracle Hearts. Thank you, Josh. That's funny. I laugh about stuff like that because it's kind of funny, really. I never go to the doctors ever.
Son Daryl Bonds buried in a shallow grave.
We began slowly excavating that area by hand. During that time, we did locate what appeared to be a body part of a person.
Tuesday morning, officers found a 4th body in this detached garage while serving a search warrant at a home next door. They confirmed it was Daryl's son and Guadalupe's husband, 43-year-old Matthew Bonds, who had been missing since Saturday. The suspect accused of killing all 4 family members is a 17-year-old boy, Matthew's neighbor and friend. The teen, who tried running from police before being taken into custody, is now behind bars on 4 counts of murder.
Does it sound like a drug thing to you? It doesn't sound like a drug. Why would somebody kill 4 people, the whole family, for drugs? This is bizarre.
No, there are other people possibly involved in this. My belief is that the 17-year-old did not commit this on his own. So we are actively searching other suspects, other people with information that may know what occurred.
The teen's mother, 34-year-old Bryn Curtis, and her boyfriend, 21-year-old Rafael Gonzalez, were arrested on charges of accessory after the fact. Both have had prior run-ins with police and are now out on bail. During the search of Curtis's home, property belonging to her neighbor, Billy Bonds, were recovered. Police believe the items that were taken could be a motive for the murders.
We definitely want justice, and we want everybody.
No, it probably sound like a burglary. Not bad, maybe.
That's involved
That's a nice rock right there, huh?
in it to be caught and not on the streets.
Guadalupe's family plans to have a vigil sometime this Friday. There is still a GoFundMe page on our website for funeral expenses. Now, we just learned that the 17-year-old has a detention hearing scheduled in juvenile court tomorrow. As for those 2 suspects who posted bail.
Yeah, that truly sucks. I mean, it's I'm just finding out about this now. It's terrible. Anyways, I've been here 2 hours. I want to thank everybody for coming in. Miracle Hearts, Dandy, Southern Gals, Awesome, Jocelyn, Karen. Who else was in here? I know that CJK was in here. Karen Lee, I think I said her already. Southern Gal's got a great channel. She's put it in here a couple of times. The Think Tank too, Frankie. Frankie's awesome. Mexi was in here. Dandy was in here. Of course, Steve from True Crime Web is awesome. He's got the best channel ever. Let's see who else was in here. I think that's it. Miracle Hearts was in here, of course. But I want to tell everybody I appreciate everybody for their kind words and stuff like that. You're all great. Just trying to see if anybody else was in here. I may come back on later tonight, later this morning, actually. I'm not sure. But if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. But I want everybody to have a great weekend. And that's it. Stop screen. So let me play my outro and I'll get out of here. Everybody have a great weekend. Thank you for coming in. Stay safe. Don't trust anybody. And I will, yes, everybody stay safe from the weather for sure. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thank you very much.